First person turning up. Welcome to Eastside Projects. Yeah, two people. Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. My name is Gavin Wade. I'm artist curator here at Eastside Projects, and we are doing live from the artist's mouth today. So it's called something like that. And we've got Alice Theobald with us. We have artists and artist curators. We're going to be talking with Lucy Grubb a little bit later on also about their exhibition. We're going to give you just a little short intro. I'll set the scene a little bit just to say we invited Alice to work with us as one of the incidental artists here at Eastside Projects, where we're interested in an open brief for artists to listen to the noises, watch the doings, find something out, find a context, develop an idea, and then we work together to try and realize something, see where it takes us. We don't know where it ends. So we're looking forward to you all coming to experience the artworks. And something at the start of Alice's film, there is a film behind this wooden wall in here. Something at the start of the film is a phrasing that we're using as a disclaimer for this live broadcast today, which is there's a mention of words failing me, failing Alice, or failing the artist, failing the author, the narrative voice in the film. And so we're kind of not promising anything from the words that we tell you today. You know, you can't hold them. You can't hold us to account on them. They're things we don't know what we're going to say. We're going to get somewhere, and it'll carry on throughout the next half an hour, 25 minutes. And so, of course, we're using words, but we wanted to start with these pictures. So it's one way in. You might, when you walk in through the front door of Eastside Projects, this is the first thing that you would see, and it's like a clue more than anything. You don't know instantly what that is. So I guess we're going to start with this, like where the pictures have come from, and how you ended up making drawings through this project.
Yeah. Wait, should I hold this? So these drawings are the first thing you can see, and this is a sort of hexagon space for the video installation. That is kind of the main work, I guess. But these drawings came really quite at the end, and the idea for it was something that was sort of in the background, and I was kind of ignoring because I haven't really done drawing for quite a long time as part of my practice. And but yeah, it's kind of, they're drawings that are kind of illustrating these kind of phrases that are in the film that have come from children who I did workshops with, describing a mural that is in front of them, but it's an imaginary mural. So I gave them these titles, which I think, so the titles varied from these kind of phrases like, so one of them was "Perfection is a Lie," which I haven't said is the title of the exhibition. Is "Perfection is a Lie," an ode to your potential. And "Living your best life," that was another phrase I gave them. So
you'd say the phrase,
and they would describe this imaginary mural, and they'd be like, this, and there's that. And they became these quite poetic. Yeah, so the binoculars was, that is it was a person in the corner who can see their true face.
Through binoculars?
No, so you'll see also in the work that there's then an adult group that I also worked with who are sort of acting out, doing these still frames of what the kids were saying. It sounds very abstract and convoluted talking about it. You have to kind of see it, hence why it's an artwork. But and so one of the adults do this kind of like action of looking through binoculars.
I like the idea that you then are
Yeah.
They said do a money buffet.
Yeah, they said money
You
buffet.
had to work out what a money buffet even is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then draw it.
So yeah, there's a money buffet. There's someone that got into MIT, which is this building here, and
What's this one?
that was somebody walking in nature, and someone with a pet tiger. So they're all. Another one was The Image of Success. That was another title. So yeah, these are all kind of images that depict that.
And they wrap around the front. Should we have a look around?
Yeah.
See this bit. They just wrap around a little bit.
Um,
Do you want to have a look at the time issue first before we go in?
we can do.
See that?
We can come back out and see that,
Okay.
maybe.
Let's come inside. Let's go into the. I'll hold that open. You go.
I'll switch it on. So yeah, this is sort of inside the space and the film. I'm not sure. This is kind of halfway through at some point. I'll switch the sound on. I'll put the sound on. I can't see the thing. Can I see?
I was reaching for my phone to put the light on, but Harmon's got it. So it's very loud, so we're just going to leave the sound on just for a little bit to give you a hint of what it's like, and then we're going to turn the sound off so we can carry on talking and have the film in the background.
The superhero comes in. Action fight. The villain gets defeated. The superhero saves.
This is quite a fun bit to come in on and just see this part, isn't it?
They go to the city.
It's quite near the end, isn't it?
It's quite near the end.
Finish.
That's where they break up. Because Rob is mean. Because Rob is mean. The girl? No. Yes. Dog has balding eyebrows.
This is a great bit of music. Let's turn that off then and chat through it. Shall I hold that? Okay. So you get. Hopefully you could hear that sound coming through. No, let's come over here, so you can just see the film in the background. Harmon, if you go over there.
Yeah, this is quite near the
We
end.
can be silhouettes.
This is kind of.
Yeah, but it's gonna loop around.
Yeah.
But I think you get a sense of that. I suppose interested about that how you've thought through constructing the film, because it's a really complex film. Lots of characters, lots of different approaches, moods, themes, techniques, all the language positions that are happening within it. There's lots of different angles on it, I suppose, in a way.
I mean, I guess I should say a little bit about the process, or like what it actually is. So it's made up of these workshops that I orchestrated at the Midlands Arts Centre in Birmingham. So there was a series of workshops, one with a group of children who are just about to go into secondary school, so they're 10, 11-year-olds, kind of chosen specifically because of that kind of moment of transition, going from like the oldest in the school to the newest and the youngest, and just that preteen age being, such a awkward, and sort of vulnerable time, but also, you're transitioning from
innocence, maybe.
There's like moments of innocence and moments of like real like profundity that they come up with in the film, they were workshops that were based on improvisational sort of theatre exercises that I'd sort of picked up and then also made up from some classes that I did, improv theatre classes I'd recently been doing.
Which also took place at the Max. So you were joining in on the course.
Yeah. But then the themes were all around ideas of success and perfection and failure and sort of how we perceive those and what influences our ideas around those subjects socially and psychologically, and it kind of, so there's lots of these questions being asked in the film.
But in a way, in the workshops, you didn't know what the film would be at that point. Not
quite. No, they were filmed, but I was just gathering material, but knew the themes I was interested in exploring, and I had already written some of the text, most of the text that is ongoing throughout the film before also, then there was the same workshop then also done with a group of adults that I'd met on the improv course that I did. So it's kind of this mishmash of the two workshops. That's what the visuals are made up of, and then my own sort of writing, which is a bit like it's kind of documentary, but then also kind of like a sort of little essayistic, I guess, but a lot more personal, I guess, and then just a straightforward essay.
It's quite self-critical.
Yeah, it kind of flips.
Diaristic self, but more.
Yeah, and bits of personal anecdote.
More therapeutic, perhaps. As
yeah,
well,
maybe.
And philosophizing a little bit, but also then.
Some personal musings and going back on what I said and kind of like figuring stuff out quite openly, I guess. But and it's like there's three images that are very sort of tightly synced together.
And what you knew that from the start, or that you wanted it to be multiple facets or reflections, or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot I don't know from the start when I make a work.
But you started testing that out early on in editing, started throwing in multiple screens. As I started editing, I knew that it was going to be, this kind of dance between the projections and the screen, and also the soundtrack, which is quite important to it. But when you say the dance between, do you think of it like that, like a choreography of actions, because I see it as very sculptural. Yeah. But I guess it is it's moving you between the screens in a way. Like.
Yeah, they kind of they're very much tightly knit together, and thought out in terms of how all the elements kind of complement each other in a way that feels quite tight to me, and thought out. But then the gathering of material was quite loose, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And also like the composing of the music was improvised but recorded, so there's a lot of repetition, sort of trying to get something like a little melody right, and then bits of mistakes are kept in, but then the edit is edited, like the cuts are edited to the mistakes often, so it's quite nice. Or like the text comes up.
Yeah. So the music really drove that sequencing structure.
Yeah, and kind of almost solidifies the mistakes or gives them some sort of purpose. Or
Yeah, yeah, it does. And
um,
how many songs are in it? Like 3 or 4?
I think there's about 5.
5? Okay. Yeah.
4.
And that was just you playing about creating, starting to imagine you want sound, you want music, you want sort of slow, you want fast, was that just at the start you just, or that was like quite instinctive, or have you got musical formula that you sort of work to, or?
I don't really have a musical formula. It's kind of what.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking you would, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there probably is one that I don't really know. It's quite instinctive, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, but there's a powerful relationship between the quite different tracks of music.
yeah,
Have they all got something in common, or you're just good at making things that work together?
I don't know. I'm the thing that's in common.
Yes, just you.
It's come from me. But
Nice.
but yeah, I guess I've always been interested in how music has the potential to influence how we experience something, and I think it's, or particularly, well, image, or how we experience the world. Even if we're like listening to something on headphones, walking down the street, it can completely change our outlook on
Absolutely.
a rainy day, or like how you can like romanticize your life through music somehow.
Yeah. I love the bits in the film where you reflect on it, where you like push it back out to the audience, like you're feeling this now because I've made a really nice bit of music and I'm playing it at that moment in time, and it's nice how that bounces back.
I mean, I don't say it's really nice, but
no, I can't remember what you say. I said,
there's.
What do you say? You say something like. Oh, I can't
it
remember.
sounds. I think it's my.
Something
sounds
sounds
better.
deep, or because
Anyway,
of the music. Yeah,
it sounds.
You have to
better.
watch the film. Watch the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes.
Do we want to give it anything else away? It's a 35.
It's about 30. Yeah, just under 35 minutes long. So if you're planning a visit, then factor that in.
Give yourself that time. We've got some comfy seating.
It's quite overwhelming. There's a lot of it's
a lot of text
heavy and kind of a lot going on at the same time. So it's not one you might get everything from in one go.
I think it is multiple viewings is really good with it. It's really good to look at something more than once.
Plan a whole day.
Yeah. Come back once a week for the next 2 months. Yeah. The exhibition is going to run through till July the 5th. Okay. Yeah. And it's going to be open Wednesday to Saturday, 12 to 5 p.m. And we're launching tomorrow night, Digbeth First Friday. Okay, I reckon that's given, we don't want to give everything away. So we're not even going to take you out to see this hidden gem on the outside of the room. You'll have to find it. There's always more. Yeah. Thank you, Alice. Cool. All right, we're going to go over to the other gallery in the building with Lucy Grubb, our artist curator trainee, who's curated the exhibition. And I'm going to, you hold that, Lucy. I'm going to hand it over to Lucy.
No, why did you do
I'm going to go and get the title because I want to read the title.
I was going to swear then. Or was that I can't? Is that the actual title?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you going to read the title?
Well, yeah. Can I read it? It's part of the intro. So you've met Lucy. Just. I'm gonna read you the title for the show because it's a great title. It's a very interesting title. A hostel for the homeless, a psychiatric ward, a crime scene, a study hall, a place of safety, a boxing ring, a confessional booth, a theatre space, a venture for knitting and book clubs, an information hub for people trying to find a long-lost relative or a job. On most days, the library is all of these. That's a great title. Sometimes needs shortening, but... Don't blame me. And it includes Moten Rayo Akinola, Jafet Dinganga, and Jesse Tam. and Lucy is the curator. So we're gonna find out some things about how this exhibition has come together. You're seeing a hint of it now. Maybe we'll walk in and then you can point out some things for us. Okay, we've got a library trolley. That's actually from Book Show. It's a key part of Eastside Projects. But why did you want to put that in?
Okay. So I suppose a really big thing, before I started here at Eastside Projects, I was a library assistant with Coventry City Council. So I live in Coventry, so I was a librarian for quite a while. And I really liked the library. I would work back in libraries again. But I suppose a really big thing that I found, or something that I thought quite a lot, was the library is so much more than its pre-described notions of borrowing books. And it's something that you know when you're working in the job, but perhaps you don't always see from an outside perspective. But the library is a free civic public space, and it is usable. So I kind of wanted to put a library trolley in there. Because I just really like libraries, but also it has a lot of, I suppose, different references to some of the books that I've been reading, some images that I've been looking at. So some of these books have been actually borrowed from Coventry City Council libraries. But that's a receipt. That's a receipt that you actually get. But this is a book where the title came from. It's called Reading Aloud. And it's basically Chris Piling's the author, and he basically speaks from a perspective of a community librarian, and these are all the things that he felt the library was or is or could be. So that's kind of what the exhibition touches on and goes into, really. Speaking about going into stuff, shall we go in?
Yeah.
There you go.
Come in. Okay, so we've got a very big ceiling work. We've got a stack of blocks and materials and books, and we've got a grid of drawings and something on the paper. What is going on in your show, Lucy?
Hi again. Welcome to. Yeah, I love it. Welcome to Gallery 2. So there's 3 artists in this exhibition. So this is one space for the exhibition to happen. The other space is actually at Coventry Central Library, where we launched tonight. But in this space, what Harman's showing you right now is some drawings from Jessie Tam. So it's a series of 20 A4 drawings which started from Jessie's studio. So there was this plaster blob on the floor which got wet. So Jessie felt there was that plaster fragment blob turned into an eyeball, and from that this blob turned into other things, and I was really interested in that transformation of objects and the association one has with that.
Where did you come across Jessie's work?
Jessie is, so me and Harman programmed a crit once, and no, it's me and Neve. Hi Neve, if you're there. And Jessie came to the crit, and I just fell in love with Jessie's work. But I think it's one of those things where you can, but I think it's one of those things where you have in your mind an idea like the library and this idea of like surfaces and rehearsal spaces, and I suppose there's always like an artist or an image of a work that kind of sticks that you go back to quite a lot. And
that's where you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's really great.
Yeah, so that's kind of Jessie's work.
Surfaces is your thing. That's what you're into. That's what is exciting you.
Yeah, I suppose I kept talking about surfaces to Gavin quite a lot. So this is work by Motomoyo Akinola. It's a really big work, and I don't know if the video really does justice to it. But it's 6 panels. it's 6 panels, and it's called Grandma's Ceiling. Oh yeah, should we just do it from here? So
We're in the spotlight.
yeah, so Motomeo grew up between London and Lagos, and essentially this work it's sort of about nostalgia, and it's also about familiarity, also thinking about certain invisible barriers. So this wallpaper, it's a Victorian wallpaper from when Motomeo's grandma, from Motomeo's grandma's generation. So it's kind of looking at the colonial influences of that time period, but also...
Are they panels that were from the artist's grandmother's house?
No, so I actually emailed Motomeo the other day about this. So they're not actually Motomeo's grandma's wallpaper, because because I had this vision that like Motomeo went to their grandma's house and started ripping down this wallpaper, but that's not exactly what happened. But there's little bits of light throughout the panels, and Motomeo thinks about that as hope. So there's a lot of glass ceilings that Motomeo thought about. So that being like a surface, and Motomeo has a daughter. So for him, it's this work also kind of links to those invisible barriers and those invisible ceilings that were from his grandma's generation, but now are passed down to his daughter. So what does that look like now? But essentially, it's you kind of walk in here, you walk in this room, and you're confronted with this Victorian wallpaper. So is it something that feels comforting and familiar to you, or is it something where you see an influence of a colonial time? So it's a really interesting object, really.
Yeah, maybe it's that kind of improvising, surviving, making something fit. I really like the fact that this gallery isn't square. So
Do you?
Yeah, the angle of that wall is a brilliant bit of a triangle that comes down and gets wider as it goes along, because that wall is at such an angle to the other two. But it actually works really well for the ceiling structure to float into the space.
Yeah.
And then we've got Jaffet's.
Should we just go into this work?
So this is one of Jaffet's works, but he has more works over at Coventry Library.
Yeah, so for this exhibition, I commissioned Jaffet. So Jaffet's a West Midlands based artist. Their work, they look a lot at how disused spaces can be reused or reimagined through community intervention. And well, basically for the library work, for the library commission, Jaffet looked at Central Library, what it was in its past life. So the library used to be a nightclub called the Locarno, and then it changed to Tiffany's. And then in 1986, it turned to Central Library. So really, when you go to Central Library, it's a nightclub without windows. And this work here, kind of relational to Jesse's work, sort of, but Jaffet's titled this Power Club, and it's basically about layered histories. And so Jaffet was born in the Congo. So when he came to the UK, he went to the library quite a lot and used it as a youth club, or a space where he and his friends could be safely. Not Coventry Library, but you know. Yeah. So it's kind of about layered histories and fabric from his home and his family, as well as some books that he likes.
In your mind, was that a little bit also part of thinking about the context of the overall show, the threat to public libraries at the moment, the fact that the funding's been taken away, like in Birmingham, there's a threat to a lot being closed down at the moment, and what you're saying is it is a public service. It offers way more than just one.
Yeah, I mean, I think like in Coventry at the moment, there's a lot of libraries that are going into I don't know what, but basically the customer service section of the City Council is taking over some part of Central Library. So basically the child section is going to be halved, as well as Bow Green Library that's going into a community hub. So sort of to go to a question, it's kind of more, I wouldn't really say this is like a criticism, but I'm really interested in these loose fitting structures and these architectures that are movable and changeable. I think there's a really powerful thing there, and it's something that I think about with the Digbeth placemaking strategy, like using having spaces that aren't just one thing, because as soon as you do that, then there becomes a material financial I can't say the word implication as well. So it's like how do we start to rebuild spaces that are movable and changeable, and something really physical that I always think about with Eastside is your walls. You're like movable, yeah, and like you using them in an art sense, but like making it like a room in a room and being able to change spaces. Yeah, well, actually, no, there's a quote that I want to read out from Mate Architects, but it's on the bookshelf. Come on, Harmon. It's what I want to read. It's like short, but it's something that, so I highlighted it for this. Yeah. Okay, so this is from Mate Architects in a book that's titled Places for Strangers. So I'll just read it out. By creating loose-fit spaces and long-life structures, we can allow for future changes without needing to preempt every option.
Okay, great. That's a good sign-off. I think we've given, well done. Fantastic show. Really, I hope everyone will enjoy coming along. Come to Coventry Library if you're around there tonight, 5 till 7 p.m. And then we're launching both of the exhibitions here tomorrow night, Digbeth First Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye.